The visit by former U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and the Republican chair of the U.S. House Foreign Affairs Committee, Michael McCaul, to meet a Tibetan spiritual leader, the Dalai Lama, in India's Dharamshala, comes after U.S. President Joe Biden confirmed that he will sign the Resolve Tibet Act into law. The House of Representatives voted 391 to 26 last week in the final procedural vote after being passed in the Senate last month. The bill will now go to the president's desk, who is expected to sign it into law in the next 2 weeks. Let's tell you about the Tibet Policy Bill, which is called, quote, Promoting a Resolution to the Tibet-China Dispute Act. The act empowers the State Department officials to actively and directly counter disinformation about Tibet. It rejects claims of China that Tibet is part of China since ancient times. The legislation pushes for negotiations without preconditions between the Chinese government and the Dalai Lama or his representatives or the democratically elected leaders of the Tibetan community. It affirms State Department's responsibility to coordinate for a negotiated agreement. Beijing contends that Tibet has remained under central Chinese rule for over 700 years. In April this year, China's foreign ministry reasserted that any contact or talks with a spiritual leader would concern his personal future and not the question of Tibetan autonomy. The Chinese embassy spokesperson took to social media website X and said, the 14th Dalai Lama is not a pure religious figure, but a political exile engaged in anti-China separatist activities. He further urged the U.S. side to fully recognize the anti-China separatist nature of the Dalai group and not send the wrong signal to the world. China has often rejected the international community's support for Tibet by labeling Tibet as an internal matter and claiming that Tibet has been a part of China since ancient times. However, the U.S. bill dismisses that claim as historically inaccurate. With this, U.S.-China ties are set to become all the more complicated, with Tibet now joining a host of issues between both nations, which includes Taiwan, the war in Ukraine, as well as trade. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.